All right. Welcome, everybody. Jeremy Buchholz here. Super glad that you can be here. Hope you're having a great day. If you're not, I think we're going to change it for you. I get to bring you onto a chat here with a very, very successful man, a successful entrepreneur, but not only super successful in business, just a genuine great guy. If you're in MLM, network marketing, you've probably heard of this man. But I get to introduce him to you today. He's taught me so much already. I am super honored to call him one of my mentors and a good friend. I get to introduce you to Mr. Robert Hollis Jr. Thank you for being here, Robert.
Well, Jeremy, thank you so much for having me on, and it's an honor to do this with you. And I just know that you're a huge superstar and helping so many people out there, and I'm just glad to be a part of it and honored to call you a friend and business partner, my friend.
Well, I appreciate it. I know you're busy. I know you're super successful, and I just appreciate you taking some time to chat with us today. Speaking of your success and how busy you are right now, I know things are just exploding. For those people who might not know who you are and what you're doing, would you take just a minute to kind of explain what you do, what you're doing, what you're involved with right now?
Yeah, absolutely. I'm actually involved with a company called Unlimited Profits. And really what it's based around is education. There's a lot of people out there that's tried to start their own business, whether it's, traditional business, home-based business, network marketing, affiliate marketing, whatever it is, and, have failed at it. And really at the end of the day, when it comes down to it, is most people just didn't have the knowledge. They didn't have, a mentor or a coach to really help them through what it takes to become successful. And my father's a legend in the industry. He's actually taught 45 people to become millionaires. And now with the system, we're now giving that information away for people so they have a platform not only to use the internet to build their business, but also the mentorship and the right teachings to become successful. And we knew there was a demand for it. We just didn't know how big it was. Digital education is a $7 trillion industry. And, there's billions of people out there that are looking for a better way, that are looking for guidance and help to becoming successful. And we're helping provide that for people. So it's really, really exciting, not only with the growth of the company, but just the stories. I don't think people realize that how important mindset is and how it can help with all areas of your life. So, getting testimonials of people thanking us for what we're doing for them is just amazing. It's just a huge blessing.
And I know that you are helping so many people. I've seen the testimonials. I'm one of the testimonials, of being able to be mentored along and help to make money from home. And it's really exciting times. You're helping so many people, but it probably wasn't always like this for you. There probably was a time where you struggled. All of us did. Can you tell us about a time maybe in your past that there was something that was holding you back, maybe an old paradigm, maybe an old story or something that was holding you back from being as successful as you are now?
Yeah, absolutely. Well, that is one story. A lot of people always think that it was easy. And, all of a sudden, because my father was this great mentor, that when I decided to do this, I had success overnight. And that was by far my story, when I finally really did decide to work with my father, I, gave up everything. I quit my job. I put everything I owned in storage and moved to Montana to basically work with him and be mentored. In my mind, it's like, hey, this guy's a multimillionaire. He's taught other people. This is going to be easy. And of course, my first year, I barely made any money whatsoever. And I, even was at a point where I was going, man, did I make a huge mistake? Like, hey, will my job take me back? All those things. And, I just eventually worked through it. And, probably one of the biggest things that held me back was, I was such an introvert, and I was, not really self-confident in being, I guess, what you would say a leader or somebody that could be successful. So, I used to have a lot of limiting beliefs about that and had just like massive anxiety. Even to do a small hangout like this, or, my father would have, say, hey, can you intro me on the weekly call? It's like, man, I'd be shaking. I felt like I had to throw up. I mean, it was bad, and it was one of those things that I thought I'd have to deal with, and probably really held me back for years, from my success, because, I was self-sabotaging. It's like, hey, listen, this is Jeremy. I got like 20 people that want to build a business. Can you come meet them all? And it's like, oh, no, but eventually got over that. And, really the only way I got over it is just by doing, you know what I mean? and doing, you learn by doing. And I really feel that every negative emotion that anybody has, you can get over by very simply taking action. Everybody was scared the first time they, jumped off the diving board. You got kids that are out there freaking out and I can't do it, mommy, mommy, mommy. And, and you just keep jumping off the diving board. Eventually it's like, you got to pull the kids off because they want to keep going over and over and over again. It's funny.
Yeah, and I think in personal development too, isn't that such a big thing? Is people see personal development, they say that it's important, and they might read a book here and there or look at a good quote here, but that actual stepping out and taking the action, doing what they know that they've got to do, doing what they know they've been taught to do, is a big deal. Is there a point in your life? I know with a lot of the people who are watching here, they're members of our community, A Seed of Greatness. And we like to say, and we really believe, I believe that God himself has put a seed of greatness in each one of us. Is there a time where you remember kind of realizing something like that and that propelled you to take that action?
Yeah, I think it was more of an event than anything else. Because I was just always taught that not only do you have to have a mentor and a coach, but just follow a system and stick to it. There's so many people that want to reinvent the wheel and try to do different things. And, of course, like I said before, my first year, I barely made any money. I think my second year, I maybe made like $10,000, which is still, pretty reasonable for somebody, that is trying to be in any kind of business. And, my third year, we really started plugging away and really, really taking that action. And, all of a sudden I was in a position where, my check was going up. And I even remember it was $300 for the week. I know that might sound pretty insignificant, but I got this $300 check and I was going, I think I'm going to pull this off. I was like so excited and, really felt like this was something that I was called to do because I was having a lot of success with my team and, never was ever in a situation in my whole life up to that point where anybody looked up to me, you know what I mean? And, then is when I really, really thought, this is going to be it. And, of course, just sticking with it and now having that belief and knowing that what I was doing, I think was the huge turning point because, it wasn't much, I think it was like 30 days after I got that $300 check for the week, my checks were over $2,000 for the week.
Yeah. And
after that, it was just history after that,
Those small successes, right? You said it's $300. It doesn't sound like a lot, but it was a small success. And to get there, you had to take action consistently over time and everything. But it snowballs, doesn't it? So
yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
If, in your opinion, first we gotta, people have to learn to take that action. In your opinion, what actions are super important for people to start to develop that confidence, even to step out?
Yeah, it's, I think some of the most important things are really just getting out of your comfort zone. Doesn't matter what business that you're in. People are just, I think, just get so comfortable in the norm and what they like to do that, you really just got to get out of your comfort zone. And it's different for every business. I'm trying to take this as just generic. It doesn't matter what kind of business you're in, but really that the fact of talking to new people and building relationships, I think is probably one of the most important thing. Second to, personal development, people just got to take the actions of, making sure that they improve on themselves every day. And not only that, but building relationships, even if you took it, to a car dealer, you know what I mean? Is, my father-in-law is a car salesman. And, he's at that office, 12 hours a day, sometimes 7 days a week. And he's actually number 2 salesperson at his dealership. And there's always one guy, his name's Robert, which is funny, that always just beats him. And I said, well, why do you think? And does he put in more hours than you? Is he better salesperson than you? And he goes, no, he's been at the same dealership for 10 years. He's got relationships of people that are coming back to him for their 3rd, 4th, 5th car, coming back to him to get a car now for, their kids. He can just sit in the office and have people come to him because he spent years of building relationships with people that now know, like, and trust him. And people that would even drive 2 hours because they moved to come back to that dealership just because to do business with him. So it doesn't matter if you're in network marketing, affiliate marketing, or just traditional business. At the end of the day, it's all about building relationships with people. And I think for most, that's out of people's comfort zone. It really is, and it's even, I think, a seed that's planted when we were young. Don't talk to strangers. You know what I mean? So, people are just, they might have their small niche of people, but, the more that you can build your network and the more relationships, not only is it just going to benefit you in your business, but benefit you in life. Yeah. Because when you have those relationships, that now gives you connections to do things that you never thought that you would. Be able to travel places that you never thought you would, to have experiences that you never thought you would, because you took the time to build a relationship with somebody who introduced you to somebody that, may be able to get you into places that you've never been before. And that's, I think, really, really the key, as far as taking action. If somebody, had one thing they need to focus on, is building relationships.
Yeah, I agree. And that you hit the nail on the head when you said that that starts early on. Don't talk to strangers, right? Just having these little paradigms, these little things that we believe from an early age, and we've got to change that, through personal development, through stepping out, like you said. In your opinion, Robert, if somebody wants to be really successful, what kind of chance do they actually have of being super successful like yourself without focusing on personal development, without focusing on changing themselves?
I would have to say zero. Yeah, I mean, I know it's a pretty bold statement, but it doesn't matter what business you're in or anybody that you're looking at success. I even saw a quote from Jay-Z. Whether you like rap or like him or not, he's one of the most successful rappers in the world. And he says people always complain about that you've changed, and I say, wow, it's funny you work so hard at a job to stay at the same place. Jim Rohn was another person that had one of the best quotes ever, is don't wish it was easier, wish you were better. George Washington, I mean, quotes go on and on and on. If you gave me an axe to cut down a tree, I'd spend 90% of my time sharpening the axe and 10% swinging. These are, from all generations of all different walks of life that are massively successful, and they're all saying you got to work on yourself. You just have to. Because if you really look at it, if your current situation you're not happy with, you got you to that situation. You made the choices, your actions, your ability, your skill set got you to where you're at. And if you don't like where it is, you got to start working on yourself. You got to start improving. And the other funny thing about that is, especially in business, is you attract who you are. So I know a lot of people are watching this that are in home-based businesses, and it's like, wow, I'm sponsoring all these people and they're not doing anything, and they're complainers and whiners. And, I hate to say this, and I hope I don't offend anybody, but I've been doing this for over a decade. And usually whiners and complainers bring whiners and complainers to the meetings. Outgoing, fun-loving people that are life of the party usually bring fun-going, life of the party friends around. You got people that are just driven, money hungry, that are like sharks. That's usually who they surround themselves with. So if you're the kind of person that you can look in the mirror and go, wow, if I hired myself, I would be super happy, and I know my business would be successful. If you can say that about yourself, maybe you don't need personal development, but there's very few people that are like that.
For sure. Yeah.
So, I don't know anybody who's massively successful that not only didn't work on themselves, but continues to work on themselves. We went to, I always love GoPro events, with Eric Worre. And, fortunately, I got to sit in the VIP section, which is right up in the front. And to get in the VIP section, you either got to make over $100,000 a year, or be a millionaire earner or pay some ridiculous amount for the ticket, right? And if you look at behind the rope, everybody that's trying to become successful, you see, over half of the people don't even have a notepad in their hands. They're getting up and they're getting coffee and they're socializing with their friends and, everything else. And then you look at somebody that's making $2 million a year, makes me look like I don't know how to make money. And I mean, every time you look over, notes after notes, and they're studying the people and they're taking it serious, and you wonder why they're making $2 million a year, and the people behind the rope not paying attention, not taking notes, aren't making money. Yeah, I mean, you got to be obsessed with improvement, always getting better and better and better. If you did personal development and that got you to $5 grand a month, awesome. What if you did more and it could get you to 10? Yeah, so I think it's huge, man. To say zero, I know is pretty crazy to say. You know, I'm sure there's people with just, you know, gifted abilities already that can make good income, but you know, you're trying to become a millionaire, and you're not going to get there without personal development. I'm just telling you.
And I totally agree with you. And we all know that, I think, on a level, right? I mean, if you go down the street and you ask 100 people, is personal development important? 99 of them are going to say, very, it should be top on my list. So what do you think it is that holds so many people back? Because not everybody does personal development. In fact, there's a statistic that I saw that only between 3 and 7% of the population ever invest in anything personal development.
Just comfort zone. You know, it's once again going to, hey, do you know what it takes to become fit and healthy? Yeah, you're supposed to eat right and exercise, do you? No. You know, we all know that we should do personal development. We all know we should eat McDonald's. We all know we should spend more time with our family, but a lot of people just choose not to do it. And it's just, you know, that comfort level of just being average. You know, I really think that one of the worst parts about failure is not only is it expected, but accepted. You know, it's like, even, I mean, my gosh, and I hate to say it, but like in America, you know, we're one of the most obese countries in the world. And hey, if you're overweight, that's okay. Everybody else is. It's just such a weird mentality to have, but we're just in that kind of society that being average is okay. You know, barely making it by is okay because everybody else is doing it. And, you know, people, they're not motivated by gain. They're motivated by fear of loss. You know, if we're motivated by gain, of course, everybody would be into personal development. Gyms would be sold out, you know, but there's not enough riding on that you could lose everything, or that it's important enough to you to lose weight, or whatever it is to get you to do those money-making activities or personal development. You're just stuck in that zone.
So I would like to, you know, I say, you know, we don't have a seed of average.
Yeah, exactly.
It's a seed of greatness. You know, what would you recommend? What words of encouragement would you give to somebody who's like, even today, is just kind of going, you know what? I'm sick of being average. I do have a seed of greatness within me. I am ready to step out, whether it's in business, whether it's in their personal life, whether it's just straight up their personal development. They want to be a better person. What would you recommend they start with to get that ball rolling?
To start with is honestly not only personal development, but getting your why. You know, just start dreaming again. You know, remember what it was like to be a kid and be a dreamer. You know, I love talking to kids. It's like, what do you want to be when you grow up? Well, I'm going to be a professional football player, and I'm also going to go to the moon. You know, it's like, really? Yeah, that's what I want to do, you know, because they're dreamers. And I think that most of people, that they just got beat up so much that they just stopped dreaming, you know, and it's very important. You know, Les Brown says it the best: either you're growing or you're dying. You know, and you got to have something to look forward to, and have goals, and, you know, have a huge why that most people would call you crazy. You know, I've got a dream board hanging up, you know, in my office, and I guarantee that 99% of people that would see my dream board would say that it's stupid. Why? Because it's like, what do you plan on making, like $100 million in the next year? You're not going to be able to accomplish half this stuff. Well, I'd rather have a $20 million home on my dream board and miss it by, you know, fail and only get $1 million home, when most people can't even dream of buying a brand new home in the first place. You know, so you got to just start dreaming again. You know, write down your goals, write down your whys, your passions, and really have that why. I think that's by far one of the first things people should do, you know, if they decide to do anything. And that can relate with, you know, it doesn't have to be money, but even, you know, getting in shape. You know what I mean? It's like, you know, put up those pictures of the flat stomachs and, you know, the guys that are, you know, in immaculate shape, and, you know, watch things like that. That'll inspire you, because if they can do it, you can do it. There's no difference. Like you said, there's a seed of greatness within everybody. The only person that can find that is you.
Yeah, I agree. I agree. Yeah. As we kind of wrap this up, we talked about those people who might be ready to move forward, and you gave them some really good ideas on how to start that, how to initiate that motion. What about, because I know you've got a big heart and you want everybody to succeed. I mean, I know you. That's you, and in fact, that's one of the hardest things about being a person like you are with such a big heart. I know I've got that heart too. I want everybody to succeed. What would you say to the person who says, "Hey, that's all well and good, but I don't know. I've got to see the greatness in me"?
If somebody just believes that, that's kind of hard, even what to say to that person. But, I don't want to touch on anybody's spiritual beliefs, but God's not a discerner of people. If there's nothing else that makes somebody better than you other than this, they had a why and they went after it and did it. You can do anything. Look at some of the, people in the world and what they've accomplished. We all see those videos of, I think they're called, Humans Are Awesome. And, the things that people can accomplish. And, my gosh, there's the guy that has no arms and no legs that's out fishing. It's like, if he can go out there and do that, what's your excuse?
Yeah, I love those stories. Seriously, I know you've got a story. I know you say it a lot. If I can do it, you can do it. I think that I say the same thing. I probably learned it from you. But we've got these stories that if we can do it, anybody can do it. And you look at those videos, you look at me, you look at Robert here, and anybody can do anything if they put their mind to it, if they immerse themselves in growing and changing and getting the skills that they need. I know with Robert here, if what you're looking for is skill in business and entrepreneurship, he can get you there. He's a resource. And so what you do if you want to grow that way is you reach out to him and you ask for that mentorship, because that is how we keep moving forward. We immerse ourselves around the people that we want to be like. We immerse ourselves in positive development, positive growth, and things start to happen. Not instantly, like we already talked about. The first check is $300, but it moves from there. And again, I don't want to just park on business and money. We just happen to have a very successful entrepreneur with us today, but it's figuring out what you want, going for that why, and then finding out how to get there and working towards it. And you've done it. I'm doing it, and there's countless other people who are doing it. So I know that anybody who's watching this can do it as well. So Robert, again, as we're wrapping up, anything else you'd want to add to this for the people who are watching?
You kind of touch on a subject that I'd love to even bring up too, is like you said, is that you really do become who you hang around. And I can't stress how important that is, so with everything that we said, find people that you can lift you up in life and get around a positive environment. It's very, I say that, negativity is like cancer. You got to cut it out of your life, and get around people that support you and want to lift you up, and even better people that are better than you. Sure, going even back to like what you said, for somebody that says, well, I can't do this. If you were hanging around successful people all day, they're saying, yes, you can. Yes, you can. Look, I'm doing it. You can do this. Come on. It's like, they say having a workout partner. When you go to the gym every day with somebody that's pumping you up and helping you, I really, I can't stress enough how important that is. And, the other part is just being resilient. Like I said before, is this easy? No. If this was easy, everybody would be in immaculate shape. Everybody would be millionaires. Everybody would have their successful business. And you just got to understand that it's going to be hard work to get there. Everything in life that's great is the reason why it's so great is because it's so hard to get. If anybody could go down and buy a Lamborghini, it wouldn't be cool driving one. So I just don't think, people realize how resilient you have to be and how many hits you have to take, and really just have that thick skin and realize that it, like you said, Jeremy, it's not going to happen overnight. But if they can do it, I can do it. And I'm willing to go through the fire. I'm willing to go through the burns and the heartache to get there, because at the end of the day, if your why's big enough, it's worth it. I'm telling you guys, it's worth it.
Yeah, and you definitely know that, Robert. You've experienced that. You've come from the $300 check to where you're at now. I tell you what, I just appreciate you being here. If any of you who are watching are interested in what we talked about in the business side, I'm going to put a link somewhere around this video where you can get in touch with me. I'll introduce you to Robert. I'll get you plugged in. It's about taking that action exactly like what you said, Robert, and we'll get people plugged into you. I think everybody who's watching this, if you're not already a member of A Seed of Greatness, that covers the personal development. It covers the immersion in that. It covers the community and all of the people who want to see you succeed, the people you want to be like, the people you want to hang around. So I think, if you're not a member of A Seed of Greatness already, you need to be. I'll also post a link on how you can become a member of this amazing community, this movement here. So Robert, I tell you what, it means so much to me that you would be here. I know it means a lot to the people who are watching. Thank you so much for taking time out of your day to do this.
Hey, no problem, brother. And thank you so much for inviting me on here. And I just love helping and inspiring people. And like I said, I know you're one of those people that really stepped out of his zone and really is out there to really, really help people. So if you're looking at this, I know Jeremy's a superstar. I've worked personally with him. Not only is his work ethic, but his heart and his mind's in the right place. And, I just love you leading by example of saying, hey, if it's up to me, it's up to me. And, instead of being a part of the problem, let's be a part of the solution. So thank you so much for having me on, brother. I appreciate you.
Awesome. Thank you. We'll talk to you later. Have an awesome night, man.
God bless everyone.